Hello, everyone. Just want to welcome in all our listeners, insurance listeners, tech folks, no coders, innovation experts, automation experts, underwriters, and everyone else that has found this awesome podcast. This is MRS Tech, a podcast dedicated to insurance technology and automated solutions, brought to you by Management Research Services. MRS is creating the foundation for the next evolution in insurance automation. Go to managementresearchservices.com for more information about our cloud-based, no-code, new business underwriting solutions. Each episode, we will bring together a few leaders in the industry and have a discussion around various insurance automation topics. Today, we have John Flickiger, MRS Vice President of Global Sales, and Ken Lebo, founder and CEO of InsurTech Express. Welcome, guys. If you want to say a quick hello to all our listeners.
Hello, this is Ken Lebo with InsurTech Express, and Jesse and MRS, thank you very much for including us in today's podcast.
Of course.
Hello, all. This is John, and thank you all for listening, and Jesse, looking forward to it.
Right on, right on. Real simple topic today, guys. All we're going to do is create, we create topics, right? We create discussion. Certainly want to get your expertise and knowledge on the facts here. And our topic today, it's the future of insurance automation. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask a few questions. I'm going to let you guys have the floor, and we'll rock and roll. So first question, right out of the gates here, is right now, AI, artificial intelligence, is becoming increasingly more popular in the insurance industry, in the InsurTech industry. What is next for AI and the insurance industry in general? Ken, you want to start off?
Sure. Well, AI, I see it being more present in automated underwriting decision engines for life insurance. Life insurance is really the line of business that I spent most of my career in. And with innovators like MRS, who may take advantage of AI in their underwriting decision engine. Also see it on digital point of sale solutions, like some pre-sales tools and quoting and e-app. We'll see some AI, put into those experiences, whether it's consumer facing or it's an advisor facing. And there's also been a recent emergence of client engagement tools for carriers to their consumers who on their in-force policies. And these tools are typically developed for mobile devices that provide services like incentivizing wellness and also for self-service policy owner service. And I see AI really woven into the fabric of those mobile post-issue consumer engagement tools as well.
Right on, right on. John, what do you think?
Well, yeah, kind of piggybacking off what Ken said, I agree with a lot. And a little bit of my background experience, just so you all know, is I've kind of spent time in every angle of the insurance world. And I've been an agent for 12 years. I worked for a carrier for 2 years as well. And then I've been on the software side with MRS for a few years and have been familiar with their team for quite some time and what they've been building. So I feel like I've kind of seen every side of the technology stack that's come up so far. And I've had to work through the pluses and also the negatives, right? I don't think from a full stack, really anybody has it figured out yet. I think what we've been seeing, and Ken, with your experience, because you're really digging into all the different tech solutions all the time, you jump in at any point in this. But what I feel like a lot of the times it's like the tech hammer without the insurance nail is kind of, and trying to find that fit of really still managing that client, making them feel important with also automating as many things as we possibly can. So I think Ken's spot on. I think decision engines and things like that are going to get smarter. I think you're going to get decisions quicker. I think they're going to expand the decisioning on that as well. So instead of, a 75%, it's going to be an 85 or 90 or 95. Hopefully we can get to the point where we can actually automate that whole process, which we're working on right now. But I also think there's tools that need to get a little bit better on the agent-facing side a little bit, where they talk a little bit more, and it works from a company, agent, and kind of, e-app vendor on the automation side, where it can give that agent the ability to have that human touch that client, really wants, but then really only automates those specific things that are kind of daily tasks. And like you said, reminders and things like that. And Ken touched on it at the end, kind of those engagement tools that are monthly, weekly, et cetera. So that's kind of the direction I see. I mean, I think things are going to get smarter. I think when companies figure out that they can actually backdate some of that testing, that's when AI is really going to get interesting, where they can take the data they've collected over the last decade and back test all of that, and then work towards the future.
So, John, are you saying that companies with this progression of AI, which in my opinion has been so fast, right? I mean, years ago, I mean, I don't know, Ken, you could probably speak to this a little bit more with your expertise and your length of time in the field, but I feel like in the last few years, things have just really popped and exploded with insurance automation and automation in general. And John, are you saying that companies can take all this data that they've had stored for years and years and years and now plug and play that into automation today? Is that where you were kind of going with that?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're seeing it a little bit with some of our, clients that are working on this piece. I think another thing that with the AI and the automation that you mentioned, and I would say just the technology stacks have been changing rapidly over the last 10 years. And I'm going to throw it over to Ken a little bit because, Ken, what I see, kind of when I dig into companies and what I've seen as an agent and things like that
Right.
on this topic is, first it was everybody scrambled to just bring in any solution that was possible that seemed like it would help, right? And now
Yeah.
I'm seeing where, companies are saying, wow, we have all this. This is causing a lot of costs. It's not really streamlining too much. How do we really need to pare this down? We're almost getting to the point with companies with getting into their AI and automating and e-apps where we, are like, why do you have this in place? It's not, kind of that you have this in place. So kind of what are you seeing in that market?
Well, the first thing is I just want to comment that and this happened to me the other day. I was on the phone with a distributor who was more on the fintech side, more on the financial advisor, and he was working on a compliance solution. And it's got this stigma. He thinks AI is just some robo, it's going to learn something and you're chatting with somebody. But AI, as we were saying, it's going to be a lot more sophisticated. And really, I think you take data analytics and you're taking raw data, whether it's being used for underwriting or product development, designing, or even around new business process, whether you need to order additional requirements or you have a quote, but now based on some certain information, you'd ask more questions. There's more sophistication to it, either in the back end fulfillment process for insurance or on the front end on the sales process, and not the thing where it's just, it's just you ask a question and it asks another question and you're just recording information. It's a lot more sophisticated around data and data analytics.
Yeah, that's actually a great segue too into our next question. We just had an awesome discussion about AI and how it's becoming more and more popular, right? How it's just taken off in the last few years, the last 10 plus years specifically. But what are you guys most surprised about today in the insurance tech industry? John, you brought up e-apps earlier. Ken, you've been through the gauntlet here with the industry for a very long time. I'm very interested in hearing kind of your different spins on what you guys are most surprised about today in the InsurTech industry.
Well, this Ken, so just to kind of address it. Yeah, I've been in the industry, like you said, like I'm 34 years, and John, who has multiple perspectives, I have spent a good part of my time on the distributor side, the carrier side, and the vendor side. So I also have some multi perspectives on it. So not much surprises me, but and the main reason is because at least in the life insurance world, things from a technology perspective, they drag. They really move slow, and they're always being measured against the P&C world, the property and casualty world, where they are with technology, and they always seem to be lagging behind a little bit. And the thing that I guess really surprises me, and you guys probably really maybe not expecting this, but I've looked at some recent carrier roadmaps on from a high level on what the projects they're investing R&D money in and prioritizing. And they seem to be getting more conservative and spending too much time on proof of concepts or POCs, and really not enough collaboration in the industry. I'm on a lot of, I work with Accord and LIDMA and LIMRA and NELBA and all these acronyms of these associations that work on process improvement and technology standards. And basically, they're not really getting as involved or investing in to accelerate new technologies, and whether it's models or process improvement standards. And you would figure that in the last 10 years, things have gotten cheaper, less expensive, easier to use with all the new tools, and quicker to implement. And you would think of going the opposite direction. The only exception I'm going to say is with COVID. So COVID kind of put companies in a situation where they did have to accelerate some technology to be able to continue to run their business. But that's just an unusual situation that made everyone have to do that. So,
yeah, I think Ken, again, it's kind of the perfect answer with that, and I can lead into some of my experiences even on the P&C side and how far ahead. I mean, you look at a lot of life insurance companies and they're just getting into that kind of digital world and making decisions online and issuing things instantly, making quick decisions and all that. I remember when I was an agent 12 years ago, Progressive was already doing that on the auto side, right? I mean, they've had this and have been pushing this technology for a really, really long time. And that's only one piece of the business. But with kind of COVID in the last year, I know life insurers are really trying to, catch up and kind of figure out what they have now and figure out maybe what they need. Some of the surprises to me is, we just talked about AI and communication, and you can get into chatbots and all these different things. But, what I think really needs to, and it could help move the industry forward is, as Ken mentioned, kind of all the different sides talking to each other, right? And that includes in the insurance company side, that includes on the technology side, just being able to work better together to kind of find those solutions that best fit the company. We'll talk to a lot of companies and we'll kind of dig under the hood, and there might be some things that they need that they don't have. There might be some things that they have that they don't need necessarily. And then also, in the kind of the trends in the industry is really more flexibility with cost. That's something that I'm seeing, slowly changing, I guess, and people being more open to, is that a lot of, carriers can be kind of caught in this cost trap with some solutions. And really to be flexible and to be able to take advantage of technology, you have to be a little bit flexible with your cost structures that you have for those different things. That's as well as being flexible with the team that you put on those different projects. I know a lot of insurance companies, the IT teams are very, stressed, and there's a lot going on, and they're trying to figure out a lot of different things at one time. And it's kind of expanding those responsibilities. And I think we're definitely seeing that change in the industry, which is a very, very positive.
Yeah, for sure. We'll lead into the question number 3 here. We got a lot of experience on this panel, guys, and your thoughts on the questions so far have been amazing. This last question here, number 3, is kind of looking into the future. Where do you guys see the InsurTech industry going in the next few years? What's next, right? We've got e-apps, we've got AI, behind the scenes. You can automate almost anything you want in today's world, right? So what's next? What's next for the insurance industry, and maybe in the next few years and beyond that?
Well, definitely, I see just self-service is the first item I see really growing, and not just because millennials want to be able to touch and feel technology before they get pressured with a salesperson, a financial or insurance advisor, and they want to be able to do things on their own. And as again, the tools become, and believe it or not, paper is still around in some lines of business and products. Like on the fixed side, on certain distribution channel like independent, annuities are still done very paper heavy, and they're not using the app and things like that. And I really believe that the adoption and the paper is going to go away, going to be more self-service and more consumer facing, but still maintaining the agent ecosystem, right? So they're still going to need advice, financial and insurance expertise, but it'll be more on a demand basis, not on the front end sales side. And then, of course, the other thing I see is the IoT world, which I know is Internet of Things, IoT, which I know is very heavy in the P&C space, where people can put something in your kid's car, and if they're a safe driver, their premiums don't go up or they go down. Well, in the life insurance world, a lot of it's about your lifestyle and your medical situation. So as you have more things like Apple Watches and other devices or home devices on capturing your lifestyle and capturing your medical information, that could positively impact the cost of life insurance, okay? Because your risk can either go down or up based on the results of IoT. So I see that being a lot more prevalent for sure. And so those are the key things for me that I see in the next few years gaining a lot of traction.
Yeah, I agree with Ken and what he said there. I think the first thing that's going to change, and this might not be a technology thing. I think it needs to just be, maybe a direction of insurance is maybe more transparency in the process. So I think that's going to happen, quite a bit, and people are going to ask for that. I already see consumers asking for more transparency from companies. It's things that, we're building into some of our solutions. It's to let the client know a little bit about what's going on instead of just, getting, as Ken said, some of those things are still on paper, getting the 42-page application or whatever it may be. It's where you're pointing out the key parts of the application. You're doing different things where, again, as Ken mentioned earlier, that person then can educate themselves on that kind of first point of sale. And then if they have any questions or follow up, they can ask an agent down the road and all that. Now, with us being in the life insurance side mostly, we do see that automation coming on board. I think health insurance will see a lot of changes coming up as well. That is a very, very labor intensive customer service process. I think that, again, with transparency, and I know there's a lot of cost tools out there that are bringing transparency to the market as well. I think that's going to bring a lot of changes in the life and health space, which when that data is available or when that data is more readily available, then that makes things actually smoother, quicker, faster, decisioning easier in the life insurance industry. So kind of where health data goes, and I don't want to say health insurance necessarily, but health data, so goes life insurance and what we can do on the life insurance side. And, we may be able to auto underwrite instantly that $2 million policy, where in the past, we would have had to go through medical and all those different things. I think flexibility is a big thing. Flexibility from the carrier side, flexibility from the individual consumer. I think that's really what they want, needs change. So I think solutions that can be flexible, and it's not just stuck into, I have this policy that I can't really change amounts on or anything like that, although my needs may change. I think, again, education, transparency helps with that as well. And when you have those different pieces in place, it drives costs down for everybody involved. So you have kind of the most streamlined tech stack that you can possibly have from a carrier standpoint. It is, of course, going to save costs. That's going to improve profitability. That's going to improve pricing for those end consumers. And people are also becoming more comfortable with the data that they share. So, Ken mentioned Apple Watches and all these different things and Whoop bands. I don't know if you've heard of those, but they're very, very big in the fitness and CrossFit world. I don't have mine on now, but I do wear one. And, I dig into the data because I nerd out on that a little bit. And what really, that does is it's going to get people more comfortable sharing that data as well. So I think when Apple Watches first came out and even, Whoop bands or Garmin's or whatever it may be that's tracking your heart rate and tracking all these things, people were never wanting to share that with anybody because, I don't know what's going to happen. But now, that stayed pretty private and it can stay very anonymous if it needs to be. And I think people get more comfortable with, hey, if you share your last 6 months of Apple Watch data with us as the life insurer, we could cut your rates up to 50%. I think that could be a future as well, where it's much more commoditized as opposed to the past where you kind of have to walk through that process, with an agent. But we can start the process much, much easier. And again, I think everybody wins, because from a technology side, and different solutions you can build for the insurance carrier, that simplifies their process. And of course, then those cost savings just, go downhill to that end consumer.
Yeah, and I just want to make one other point, because John had touched on it earlier, which with the health insurance exchanges, electronic health records, trying to take a 100-page PDF or paper of a medical records and handing off to an underwriter to look, cross-reference it on some type of underwriting manual and making some decision. There's no reason to do that if everyone gets their data into the EHR, electronic health records, and then have the tools to analyze it and the decision engines to make the decisions. And only in certain special cases would you need to have, so many underwriters. And I'm not trying to put underwriters out of business, but honestly, that's just part of progress, right? And the idea is to get not only a quicker decision, but a more accurate and more consistent decision, which helps drives persistency and better products that are manufactured by the carrier based on that data, on analyzing the results of that. So.
Yeah, I took a few key points, key notes down actually on this last question, because I wanted to kind of tie everything up here before we finish the episode. And what I kind of got from the answers, flexibility, customizing solutions, transparency, and really at the end of the day, we're trying to save our customers or clients time, resources, cost, and we're trying to simplify the process. What I got out of that is we want to have them save, time, resources, cost, all that good stuff, right? But we also want to make them experts in the field, right? We want them to grow. We want to be able to teach them how to become the expert in the field. And I think that's where companies like MRS and InsurTech Express, with the knowledge bases that we have, the people we have on board, obviously you guys here today talking about e-apps and the whole process, present to future. That's where I think the key points come from, right? You want these clients to kind of buy into this, get comfortable with it, and adapt. Is that right, guys? If you want to hit on that real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. And, when we look at, when a carrier is investing in process improvement and technology, they look at two types of what they consider customer bases. They have the consumers buying the insurance, and they have the distribution partner, whatever distribution channels they're using, who are out there selling the insurance. But quite honestly, it is leaning more towards putting these tools in front of the consumer. And as John mentioned, in the P&C world, I can go ahead and take a Geico app and I can go apply for auto insurance and get my policy and my approval and everything in one experience on my iPhone. Okay. Well, why can't I do that with life insurance? All right. Except for the more complex products, there may be some more involved, or if if I have a unique medical situation, there may be some additional requirements that are needed to qualify for a good rating to get the product. But in most cases, with predictive analytics and with the technology and mobile devices, I should have a consumer buying experience that's fast, easy, and cost effective, right? And at a decent price, just like you said, Jesse. So yep. That's the objective. Completely agree.
John, any final thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think carriers, again, based on what Ken said, I agree 100%. They just need to get comfortable being uncomfortable. And the ones we're really seeing innovate and pushing the envelope, and they're doing some cool things, and we've seen their business increase quite a bit. We've had 50, 60% jumps that we've seen with things that we've implemented in a couple months. I think they need to get comfortable with kind of pushing the envelope and saying, hey, this project doesn't need to take 2 years. We can do this in 3 months. Or this project doesn't need to take, we can't look at this at 2023. Let's look at this now. Let's get on it. Let's see who we can ask to help. I think that, we're seeing a lot with our clients because we're, adding services to a lot of people that are really, or for a lot of people that are really, again, pushing that envelope and, just get comfortable being uncomfortable in an industry that, as Ken mentioned, has stayed the same for quite some time. I think those that push the envelope and move faster towards the innovative side and the flexibility side will win in the long run.
And I just want to piggyback one thing, and this is why I think you look at MRS's no-code e-app and your other low-code solutions, and I look at some of InsurTech Express's other partners with low-code solutions. That waterfall mentality that a lot of old school carriers may have should definitely be changed when you have these tools that, as John said, that allow you to implement what used to take 6 or 8 months, and you can do it in a couple of weeks or something. So, or within 30 days. And they do need that paradigm shift, because that's what these new platforms allow you to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. And that's exactly what we discussed today, guys. I want to thank you both, John and Ken, for joining us today on MRS Tech. To connect with John, please go to www.managementresearchservices.com, or you can email him at sales@mrsreps.com, sales@mrsreps.com. To connect with Ken, the wonderful insurance guru that he is, you can go to InsurTechExpress.com. Once again, that's www.InsurTechExpress.com. Guys, it's been amazing. This has been a great conversation. I appreciate your thoughts and viewpoints on the topic here. The future of insurance automation. Thanks again. Great chat. And looking ahead to MRS Tech Episode 3 coming soon. Thanks again, guys.
Thank you.
See y'all. Thanks, Jesse. Good talking with you, Ken.
Same here, John. Thank you.